got that down for approval. Approval of the agenda, I think we're gonna add a couple things on here. I got Liz's notes, so I think most of that's gonna be new business, isn't it?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
could I have the agenda? I don't have the
Oh, that's
agenda.
right.
Right.
Who are you? Identify yourself.
I'm the interval.
So, do we have the minutes from April 21st? Were those ever typed up?
They were, and they were sent, I thought, to everybody, or to you and Jeff, but
I don't
no.
remember seeing those.
I've been busy reading county.
It would have been like the next day. I sent them to,
Maybe they went out and Jeff and Tim didn't respond, so nothing happened. Oh.
I thought Tim and Jeff and Kelly, I thought I sent them to, but.
You did send them just to me. So,
Good thing that never happened.
and-
So we'll have to approve them at the next meeting.
Actually, they're on here if you guys want to read those quick. We'll pass that around. And then, you know, it's not, we didn't have it.
This is when you were on the phone?
Yeah.
No, that was when I was here. The
Hey,
last
Tim?
meeting that we had.
Oh, well, I wasn't here, so I don't know.
Tim,
I wasn't either.
I'll read them.
Yeah.
hey, Tim, if I may,
Should we approve them?
Yeah.
Tim, if I may,
Go ahead, Mickey.
I'm not sure of the rules, but I don't think we can add to the agenda.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
You can?
Yeah,
Okay, that's right, because we don't know the
if
rules.
you
right.
add to the agenda before we approve it,
Oh, okay,
then you
all
can
right,
do it.
all right.
Because we haven't approved the agenda yet.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm Brian Dunn, we spoke on.
Yes, sir.
We just have to, let's read it in here.
Oh,
Approve it. We'll go back.
yeah, hang out with good people.
I know, but it's against the law if you don't.
What is it?
Don't do it right.
Yeah, it's a law. Have it
You know,
for
post the agenda, post the minutes, all that.
Mhm.
That's the law thing. Yeah, because otherwise you're withholding information from the public.
So is that what you'll be doing, and just sending them to me then? Okay, I'll just make sure when I get those, I'll send them to everybody.
Well, then she wants you to look them over and approve them, and then once you think they're correct, then you'll send them to everybody, right?
No, I think I have to send them to everybody right away, and I don't think you can make changes to them.
Until we go to the meeting.
So I just sent to you and then Jeff and Kelly, because she has to post them, the draft, or, yeah, it's a little, it's a little
Change
different,
that a little bit?
yeah.
So what would you like to add to the agenda?
The one thing that I was going to change, not change, but on the minutes, I thought we requested that we got a monthly report on the Lions rental, so we know that that money is going.
Okay.
And there it states that we want the money to go to the Parks Commission, but I think we should know that it's going to the Parks Commission with a monthly report of the usage and the fees received.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
So then, when it comes to item 5, you want to, Liz, you want to say, I'd like to make one change.
Yes.
And then do that, and then somebody accept the minutes as changed. Perfect.
So we did that already? then?
No, first of all, you want to do is get the stuff on the agenda, which we haven't got.
Yeah, the proof on the agenda, Liz sent me actually a list today, which actually is a really good list of things that we probably should add to the agenda, so. One of them was the $5,000 Minker grant that we could be applying for monthly, you know, so we're gonna talk about that, so,
Okay.
which is a good idea. We're gonna talk again about, we've got the Lions Pavilion down there already with the fees. And then, I wanna talk about the picnic tables. That would be new business. Picnic tables, have they been painted? Day of serving. There are certain things that we need to do before the day of serving to work as a Parks Commission. And then field trip to Glen Arbor's Park in June 7th. That Liz wants to work, kind of like get an idea what they're doing out there, which I think is an excellent idea.
Great.
Liz, you got anything else you want to do? Okay. With those items added, we approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
All right, Bob second. Public hearing? I don't think we have any public, we get citizens comment. Is that citizens comment, the next agenda? So Brian, right?
It's me, right.
Yeah, you wanna come on up?
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for letting me come and taking some of your time here. My name is Brian Dunlop. I am a retired resident of Manistee, actually Filer Township, and I'm here representing the Manistee Senior Softball Group, which is a group of about 30 to 35 old guys and one woman. We're recruiting more women.
What age do you describe old?
60.
Okay.
So was it to play softball? I mean,
Thanks a lot.
young guys hit the ball too hard, so.
I'm in that category, so
Yeah. So you want to play?
actually, I probably would.
Well, then you're welcome to start tomorrow.
Do
Well,
I
if
get
it's-
designated hitters?
What's that?
Designated hitters?
You got to make it to first base. If you can make it to first base, you can get a designated runner. But in any case, I'm here representing that group of guys. And I'm here to talk about the condition and what we hope is a conversation that we start leading to improvement of the two softball fields at Lighthouse Park, which are the two softball fields, as you note in your minutes here, in the corner of First and Cherry. This all started from me. Well, the senior softball group started about 7 years ago. One of the men who's still a member started it with 3 guys playing catch, and it's led to 30 or 35, and not everybody shows up every week, but the guys show up and we play ball. Over the years, we've done some pretty simple maintenance, basically raking the field, picking up some of the trash, and doing some rather routine but minimal things. And we've noticed that over time, the condition of the park, which was formed back in the 1970s with a grant to the city, has kind of fallen into disrepair. It's still eminently playable, but it needs some work. And so that's one of the reasons I'm here to talk about that, and requesting that the city, through you, through the city commissioners, consider finding some way collaboratively for us to work on improving the quality of the fields. So that's what I'm here for. There are at least 3 groups of people that play at Lighthouse Park. There's us, 35 old guys, and some women when they want to play. There is also Manistee Catholic Central girls softball team play on one of the fields, their home games, and they have their practices there. And then there's a Manistee Adult Co-ed League that plays on Wednesdays and Thursday nights. And that's younger than we are, and it's men and women, and they've got a league that consists of some Manistee County communities and maybe even some cities outside of Manistee County, I'm not sure, but they put together a league and they play Wednesday and Thursday. They used to play well into the evening, but since the lights don't work so well anymore, they play in the evenings just during daylight hours, so they've cut back a little bit. That's one of the...
Can I just ask you what's wrong with the lights? Just not all working, or?
I guess so. You know, we only play in the morning, so we never turn them on, so I honestly don't know.
If I may, yeah, we've had trouble with the third base lights. That, we've talked to Topline, their electrical company, when we've been on this a couple of years. It's a major fix, because we just run wire up a wooden pole and it's short, so, I mean, it's on our burner.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, sorry, I can't answer that. Mickey's going to be the resource. So actually, it all started with a phone call that I made to the city parks department. Mickey called me back within a day or less than that. We had a very nice conversation. He was able to accommodate one of the things I asked, and the other things, I started listing some of the things that I'd noticed looked like they could use some improvement. He said, well, you know, this is above my pay grade. You need to go to you and start here. So that's why I'm here representing our softball group. And I've spoken with Dale Kolkowski, who's the athletic director of Manistee Catholic Central, and although I don't have his proxy for anything, he agrees with what I'm going to say, and basically agrees with the things that I'm going to ask for, or suggest anyway. There are like 2 or 3 major hazards that the field presents, and then a number of other things that just need to be done, at least in my opinion. This is my opinion and the opinion of some of my teammates. First and foremost, the press boxes. There's a press box on each field. They were built when it was built back in the 70s. They're no longer used. In fact, they're filled with bags of trash, and one has an old sleeping bag in it.
Got to take care of that.
Okay. And in fact, the floors are plywood, they're soft, they sag, and when you step on them, they kind of sink a little bit. So it's not inconceivable that I'm 170 pounds, somebody much bigger than me could put their foot through it and do some damage to their body. So those need to come, in my opinion, they need to come down. Nobody uses them.
You've never seen them used?
I've never seen them used.
No, they're not used.
And just looking at them over the last several years, it doesn't look like anybody's ever up there except to store trash.
Is that something that was used years ago?
I've never known to be used,
Yeah.
and I've been pushing it that we should pull them, because they're never used.
Just get rid of them. What's that?
That's my opinion. It wouldn't take much because we got city equipment, but I need to talk to my boss.
Okay.
The second is the fencing. There's a couple things wrong with the fencing, and Mickey's addressed one of them. There's a yellow cap, plastic semicircular cap going around all the chain link fence all the way around the field. And for the most part, that's in good shape, but there's several hundred feet, and there's probably 1,000 feet altogether of that stuff, but there's several hundred feet where the plastic has started to break up, which exposes the top of the chain link fence, which has sharp points. And also the plastic itself that's broken is sharp as well. So when you're reaching over there, you can cut yourself either on the chain link fence or on the plastic. Now, the cap, I believe, has been ordered. And
Yeah,
there's
what about the, sorry,
Yeah, please.
because that was, when I was at Midnight, I was addressed to my boss and the street lead person, and they've ordered 300 feet for areas that were at suspect, but I don't think, personally, I don't think that's enough. But
Maybe not, but I just presumed there was a supply chain issue. That's why it's not here.
that I don't know,
Yeah.
because I did not order them.
But that's one thing. That's a relatively easy fix. The other thing may involve having to replace some of the chain link fence. At the bottom of the chain link fence in some places, along the infields, the fence, which ordinarily goes into the ground and disappears so that its fence goes down to the ground, has curled out into the field. And as you know, the chain link fence, the bottom of the fence is where they're cut, so that's where the razor sharp edges are. And in fact, two of our players have gone up there. One has gotten his leg, his sock, something caught on the chain link fence and fell. Not a big, he wasn't injured, but he fell. And another one, reaching down to pick up a ball that was along the fence, poked his finger with the chain link fence. So it is a hazard, and it's something that I don't know whether it's a simple fix of putting it back in the ground or replacing it with a straighter chain link fence. But in any case, I don't know if you're aware of that.
I am now.
You are now. Okay, there's some areas where that's an issue, and it's a potential hazard.
Is that a home run fence?
Well, there's a home run fence in the outfield.
Okay.
We never.
I got it.
You don't have
We
any-
can't see it. Somebody told me it was there.
But it may very well be the case out there too. But I haven't walked every foot of the fencing. I just know around the infield where we play mostly, it's there, and it's caused some obstruction to.
You know why sometimes that is pulled up, the fabric, is because there might be only one entrance to that area. And if you're coming from the way the entrance is over here and you're coming this way, kids tend to curl it up so that they can, the other thing is to go out to get balls.
Is it that much under the ground that you can crawl under it?
What's that? It's not quite that high. I mean, I think a skinny kid could maybe lift up and get in, but wouldn't be something I'd want to try.
So it's just something that needs to be put back
It needs to be fixed, replaced, fixed, or something. So those are the two things that I consider to be hazardous
in. Are those on
conditions.
both ball fields or just the one?
The one, mostly on, well, the lack of the yellow cap around is mostly on the south field, and the fencing that's curling in is mostly on the north field. But I think they both exist to a certain extent on both fields. In fact, I would appreciate the opportunity to go around with you, maybe just spend a day at your leisure.
I'm gonna be down there tomorrow at 8:15 to meet somebody else for a quick project, so
Well, I could come down and meet you there if that would be convenient, or we could do it another time. What's that?
like about 9.
We start at 10, but I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, no,
But
sounds
I
good.
come 9 o'clock. I come
Yeah, bring coffee.
All right. All right. So then there's a number of other minor things that cosmetically, aesthetically, make the field look better, play better. And again, this is a wonderful field. I mean, it's far better than anything I played on as a kid when I played sandlot baseball as a 12-year-old. The other things that I think need to be, at least should be addressed is, first of all, the dugouts. The dugouts are old. They're usable. They're benches. The benches are 16 feet long. They're not quite long enough to get everybody sitting down in the dugout at the same time on a team that's at bat. However, most guys don't sit down anyway. But one ideal would be to make those dugouts bigger. Some of the dugouts in town, at Reeds Field, for example, or the varsity field at the Manistee High School are bigger. The girls' field is the same or smaller. One of the dugouts, one of the four, on the third base, or on the first base side of the northbound field, the benches are not fixed to the slabs, but there's a slab set in the concrete, and then the benches sit on top of the slabs. The benches can be moved. The slab is actually about 6 inches below grade on that one dugout. So water during a rainstorm runs into the dugout. Along with the water runs in the clay and the sand that's part of the dressing for the field. And it's slippery. It takes a few days for it to dry. And the dugout is basically unusable. I don't think it gets used much anyway, but the dugout or the bench could be taken out, the slab raised or redone and graded back in. So that's one thing. Dugouts would be nice to cover them. You know, on a hot day, it'd be nice to be able to sit in some shade. Most of the other dugouts in town have shade over their dugouts. We don't have any. That would be cosmetic. That would look nice. It would be nice, but it's not a safety feature. Not absolutely essential, but nice. The field itself, like I said, it's in good shape. It probably, Mickey could probably address this better than I can. I don't know that it's ever been thoroughly cultivated, top-dressed, rolled, and dressed again. So as a consequence, the top layer clay has really matted down, and it's very hard. So it's hard to feel a ground ball. And if somebody goes out there after a rainstorm and steps in it, the footprint dries, and it's a dry bump, which is a risk of a ball hitting the bump and bouncing up. That can be fixed by proper grading. Now I know to have the whole thing done, that can be expensive. I talked to Phil Kleiber, who is over at Reeds Field, and he has a not-for-profit that he takes care of that field himself. And he said they do that every couple of years. It costs about $5,000. So that's probably more than what we need. But it wouldn't be bad to have somebody, and we've got the equipment apparently. Somebody came in a couple of weeks ago and kind of tilled the field a little bit. And Mickey tells me we've got plenty of the topsoil.
Diamond dust.
The diamond dust.
Yeah, that was ground. I contracted a person to come in and grind both fields, but I wasn't. It happened after I was gone. They come in and ground them. I supplied them with diamond dust. That pile is still there. They never used it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so what did we gain?
Somebody's got a front loader that was out there when he.
That was me.
That was
You
you?
call me, I bring you diamond dust every time.
Okay, so a front loader could spread that stuff out. You know, actually, I go out there once a week. I've got a four-wheeler, Honda ATV, and I go and hook up to one of those rake things that you hook up to the back of the Honda and drag the field and kind of smooth things out. It's kind of hard to smooth out the clay that's from footprints and that's bumpy, but I do that with another rake. But in any case, fixing the field up in a nice way is something to consider. Lights, getting the lights fixed, or just not having the lights. I mean, I don't think the girls ever play there at night. This co-ed league used to play at night, but that's more than I don't know. That's a cost issue. I understand. It's all cost issues.
Mickey, do you have any idea how much lights? I mean, what are you looking at? What you think?
Down there, we don't know. We do have teams come through. We have leagues on occasional weekends, and we want to give the kids the experience of a night camp. And they've done it at Sands Park. But I know there was issues with one pole, and Top Line's looked at it.
All right.
Two more
We just need to pursue that.
Yeah.
Because when I love everything that you're suggesting, what I need to do is put an itemized list together. I'll tell you this, from what I've been constantly told, we have no money, supposedly, but if we come up with a budget to fix all this, which I think needs to be done with what you've said to me, then I can intelligently go to the city council and say, this has been brought to our attention these are the dollar amounts that are gonna need to be, to fix this. And then if the city has the money, great, if not, then we find alternative ways of doing it. We need, to me, an easy solution to all this. Why, do we have any sponsors for the field?
Thank you.
Yeah, do we have any sponsors?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't go by one softball field or one baseball field. Wherever I go, and there's sponsor signs all along the fence. And all that money that's generated could go to everything that needs to be fixed up. You know, I mean, I honestly think that would be your solution to most of your problems, to be quite honest with you. And some of this other stuff, get sponsors, get volunteers, I think we could get accomplished all this, to be honest with you. What I'm finding out in this Parks Commission is a lack of motivation to get things done that need to be done. And this honestly is one of those projects that we got people that come from out of the city that come and play at those softball fields and the baseball fields. It's embarrassing sometimes the condition are, but I know Mickey's limited with what he has, the manpower and the funds and getting things done. We just gotta go outside the box, you know, and get all your groups together and then start thinking about what needs to be done and start working on it.
Well, in the interest of full disclosure, I am also a member of the Manistee County Parks and Recreation Commission, so I'm fully aware
Yeah.
of the shortcomings that you see, because we see the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So you haven't, there's no drainage issues with these fields?
You know,
From the sounds of it, which to me would be critical if there was.
the drainage has been, and one of the fields has been fixed better than the other. One of the fields still, after a rainy day, collects water in several different spots. We've worked more we, the old guys, worked more vigorously on the other field, had the same problem during the first part of the years. We've taken the diamond dust that Mickey supplied and spread it on the hole, not the holes, the depressions, and filled those in, so that drains much better. I think with work, you know, or a grader to come in and dump a bunch of that stuff and grade it out, and then I could take my ATV and grade it back and forth.
See,
That
you're
would
talking
probably
like
go
what we're talking about, we just all need to collectively get together. We, Liz and Karen and I and Landy and Bob have all talked about that. We just need to get more involved, back you guys up and find the volunteers and the resources that need to be done. Go to Gilroy's, see what they're willing to donate for supplies, and I'm like, I'm all about this project, to be
Yeah.
quite honest with you. So,
It's
Well,
so
the-
visible. I mean, it's such a visible corner, and like you said, other town people use it.
yes.
It's a gateway to the beach, kind of, and when it looks like it looks, it's embarrassing.
There are really only two other things. One is everything that was painted initially needs to be repainted. And everything that was painted needs a new coat of paint. It hasn't been painted in a while. I don't know how long. I can't believe it's been 50 years, but it's
What was
been
that?
whatever has been painted in the past, whether it's the dugouts,
And
the
that was
bleachers.
just to paint those dugouts when you drove by, it looked so sharp.
Yeah, that needs to be painted. And then the other
I
thing
just
is,
have supplied the team with 3 gallons of paint rollers and with the people that are doing it for Manistee Cafe.
yeah.
And have yet to, I got it 3 weeks ago, they've yet to do it, but they got all the.
What color and stuff? I think sometimes Manistee.
Same color, blue.
What color is it?
Blue,
Okay.
that's what's on there.
And then the last minor thing is, you know, we pick up trash, occasional pop cans or fast food wrappers and stuff like that, and just throw them away. A trash can at each field would be nice, and then have the trash pickup at a periodic interval.
That would be an easy
Yes,
solution. Yeah.
What's that?
Seems like that would be.
All right. So the Minger Foundation, as part of the Manistee County Community Foundation, is set up to do exactly what I think you think needs to be done, what I think needs to be done. That is provide money for that if a grant is written. Now, we're not, these old softball players, we're not a not-for-profit 501c3, so we don't have any standing. It's city property. So, you know, to the extent that a foundation can provide some funding for that, I mean, I don't know. This is not my
understanding
expertise.
is that we could apply for $5,000 grants monthly.
Right.
You know, so let's just say to upgrade the field's 5,000, then we put a budget, we put a grant in for that, you know? And for what I've been told, they're very quick grants. It's not something like you gotta wait a month or two to get approval. They actually get approved that month.
Yeah.
So to move on this, what I found out is and we're gonna talk about this and Liz brought up, we just need to find someone on our commission that's good at grant writing. And what I think we need to do, first of all, is just meet with the Minger Foundation to understand their process and what we need to do, and just start applying for these grants monthly. We're wasting money. We
Well, let's
really are.
try this one first.
Well, you know,
that.
the Reeds Park, which has the baseball field over there where the Saints play, Phil Kleiber is the guy who's kind of ostensibly in charge of that. He received his not-for-profit 501c3 received about a $20,000 Minger grant 3 years ago, 2 years ago, to do exactly what I'm suggesting we should consider. You guys should consider doing
exactly.
again.
Would you help with the grant though too, Brian, if we did it, like say two of us and you, and, you know, I know, let's just take that on and just see, and if, I think you learn by doing. You know,
Well,
let's,
yeah, I like-
let's explore Heitzelman, she'll
Yeah, I
help
like the
us.
idea of first of meeting with them, finding out what the requirements are and what we need to do. Then if we get two or you that want to be on that subcommittee, the Minker Grant Foundation, and then honestly, there should never be a reason we're not applying for a
No.
$5,000 grant monthly.
Ever.
If that money is there,
And that, someone we just take turns doing it. I don't think that is, that particular Minger part of it, they just want the money out there. That
Yes.
isn't like months of work. It's like, go through some effort, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
and when I am told paperwork to apply for large grants is like this, a
Right, it's not
$5,000
like
grant's
that.
like this, you know,
Right.
so completely different. So you could be you're motivating us to get on that.
Well, that's all I wanted to say. So I'm sorry it took more time than I expected. I
Oh,
expected
no,
this to
you
be 5 minutes or less, but so I apologize for that. But that basically sums up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being
Let's-
supportive.
I think, let's support some of it. If someone came in, which we appreciate, I think, like, if Nikki would check to get the press boxes down, if we could get those down pretty darn quick, because doesn't take money.
That's
too much.
demolition.
That's just labor, I understand labor.
Just labor.
I understand it's.
Really? Just labor? I'm just labor? This is recorded, because I'm standing in front of the camera right now. Really, sorry.
No, I'm.
You brought up a lot of good stuff, and I think that, and this is what happens, we listen to you, and then typically nothing gets done, but we plan on doing stuff. This commission's pretty,
We'll put it on the list.
I'm on the county's version of the same thing you're on. I hear you.
yeah, but this is something though that can easily be done. Everything you listed is not rocket science.
Well, it sounds like Mickey's done some of it already.
Nikki has done,
Yeah.
Nikki, I'm not saying that. 'cause
Oh,
they
too late to make up right now, Liz.
I know.
That
Oh, no.
planning,
Oh, no.
yeah, I'll tell you this, we'll address all these and start moving on it very quickly.
All right.
And then if Liz and whoever else wants to help on this Minger grant, we're gonna start working on that.
All right, and if you need, I don't have any experience writing grants. One of our ball players' wives has written grants. I'm not sure for this particular type of money, but has some experience doing that, so she'd be willing to lend her expertise, I
Yeah,
think.
And honestly, from what my understanding is, this process is so easy,
Mhm.
like unbelievably easy, and that's what's so sad that we haven't applied for that, because I'd like to see a 5,000 Minger grant granted every month for projects that we're working on, because it's out there and it's available, and the process is really easy. So we'll get with Liz and we'll get with another commission member, and then we'll start working on that.
If you'd like me to provide a list of the things I listed, I'd be happy to, but it sounds like it looks like you're writing them down, so
I wrote it down, but do you have it in an email that you could send me?
I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get the email from
Okay,
Liz.
and the only reason being is I just want to make sure, I wrote everything down, but I just want to make sure when I go, because I'm going to see what can get done immediately. We will, and then we'll find out what we need to apply for money for, but
Thank you.
yeah.
I
No,
appreciate
it. It takes people like you to come in here though and bring things to us like that, where it motivates us to get things done. But I feel bad for making his crew because they're not funded the way they need to be,
Yeah.
and the personnel is just not there. But then, if they can't do it, they don't have the resources, then we utilize what we have, and we'll make it get done.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 to 12 is when we play, in case you want to come on, take some
Saturdays?
swing.
Bring your
No, we
ring.
don't play. Sadly, you kind of almost have to be retired. It's hard to, if you're still working, then it's a
Yeah,
tough
I'm
one.
kind of a summer resident up here, although I come up here a lot during the weeks, but when I come up here in the summer, I plan to get actively involved in all that stuff, so.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah. Oh, I look, actually, so you could just show up and join?
Yeah.
Do I get
There's
a
no
uniform?
tryouts. There's a T-shirt. You can wear whatever you want. We'll give you a T-shirt with your name on the back. You get to have your own name.
That's all it takes for me.
Do you guys run a points league? How do you do it with 30 guys?
Not everybody shows up, so we split up into two teams. Usually there's 20, 22 guys show up on any given week, and so we have a 10 or 11 person team. So we'll have 10 fielders,
Yeah.
sometimes, occasionally 11, but we don't get much higher than that.
That's fun. Awesome. I look forward to seeing you out there.
Would your group help with some of this, like if we get some of this stuff, say the painting or whatever?
I
Would there be
am-
some interest or not?
I think there's no doubt that we
They've
would.
already been very helpful with
That's
spreading of
right,
the
yeah.
diamond dust. Yeah,
As
they're
you know,
very.
right across from Meyer, there's a sign up that acknowledges that the Manistee Senior Softball Group picks up a 2-mile stretch of US 31 between Manistee and between the Myers and the casino. So we're involved, and we help plant flowers along 31 in downtown. So we'd be happy to do that. And that's,
Thank you.
yeah,
Very good. Thank you very much.
yeah, right.
From that, we formed a subcommittee to,
Don't do anything yet.
not on anything yet?
Well, I think you're gonna follow your agenda.
Okay. That's fine. All right, any other comments at all?
I'm here to listen.
Oh, okay.
What did I miss?
You can move closer, Jane, if you want to hear.
You know, it's hard to hear.
It is back there, so let me move
Oh,
on.
but then I,
You can sit over there.
if I sit there, I'll go over here.
There's a nice cushy chair over there.
I was gonna say, here, come over there, yeah.
Whatever you want, Jane.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
And then when the AC goes on, it changes whether you can hear or what you can't
Yes.
hear, what consonants you can
We're a
hear.
very informal group.
Interesting, this,
Laney's the only one that keeps us formal.
I was at a tree commission meeting Tuesday, and they all sit up there, and that was very off-putting. This is much,
We're
Yes.
friendly.
Yes.
yeah, this is much better.
I think we're the only ones that are doing
We're
this.
the park, we're the park.
All right, very good. All right,
And
let's
then if it was sociability and.
all right, let's move on. So, we saw the approvals of the minutes from April 21st, 2022. We had some amendments to that.
So if Liz, why don't you make that?
I made a motion that we amend the minutes to include that we would, what had been mentioned was that we would like to receive a report of the revenues generated from the Lions, like the use and the money that was generated from that. If we could get a monthly report, because it was supposed to go into the Parks Fund, that money is supposed to go to the Parks Department. So we'd like to receive that report. Thanks.
My understanding is the money's now going into the general fund, so,
Yeah.
but, all right, we'll talk about that, because that's under old business. All right, so we got the approval of the minutes.
Somebody's gonna second it.
Bob, second.
I don't think you can. You weren't at the meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No wonder why you
Anybody else? Me? I'll do it.
All right, very good. Correspondence, I got
Well,
some.
are we gonna,
What's that?
Robert and I are gonna abstain from the approval.
From the approval?
And I take it you three will approve it.
Yes.
She has to take those minutes.
Are you making your rules as you go along?
No, I've
No, I'm
just been to so
joking.
many meetings.
Laney's by the book, so.
That's good.
Yeah, to me,
nothing
I'd be
wrong
like,
with that.
all of a sudden I'd be like, shh.
We need Robert here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the approvals, everybody second?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Correspondence, I did get a letter from Jen Tiller. And I keep hearing comments from her, which, about the Morton Park. So we're gonna talk about that, because Jeff actually emailed me on that today. So we'll talk about that when we get to Morton Park. So that's the only correspondence I've gotten, so. Committee reports? Do we have, and the only committee we typically have, we have the disc golf, everything's on hold for that right now, waiting for the parks to come in. Vicky, the pads,
Yeah, they were due to be poured this week, that's why I didn't reach out to you. We now are down 2 full-time employees for SMA, so we've been balancing a lot of stuff out. But the pads are gonna be poured, I don't know when, but we will let you know.
okay. Still on, well, really no hurry, it's not like a top priority, because we don't have.
We're in a hurry, we wanna get it done as soon as possible, because in my opinion, we're a year behind.
And I noticed the new baskets at Red Summersky
Yes,
look really nice.
yes, they're awesome.
Yeah, I went by there today and I'm like, wow, they just stand
Yeah,
out.
they kind of blink right in there, they're very, they're awesome.
Right. They're very nice. Thanks for doing that. So, let's move on to old business. Morton Park saw the park. I got an email from Jeff, just let me, and I wasn't able to send it to everybody, so I just want to kind of go over what Jeff had to say. So, again, couldn't make it today, so I'm trying to view the information with the Parks Commission, but wasn't able to attend the April meeting, won't attend tonight. So supposedly he's got some budgets some expenditures for slide structure, swing set, benches. I mean, it actually sounds like a pretty good list. I'll forward this to you all tonight, so make sure that you guys have a copy. But it looks like everything he's put together, it came up with $30,000, but, yeah, $30,522. So this list is pretty extensive. This includes a slide structure, a swing set, benches, picnic table, shade structure, which is really important. I mean, especially when parents, when I go watch my grandkids, I love sitting at a picnic table in the shade. That draws people, to be quite honest with you. I'm big on dog bay station, trash containers, water service, which would be supplied by the DPW with a fountain, porta johns, fence repairs. It sounds like a lot of stuff the DPW is actually going
Sounds
to take
good.
on, which actually reduced the budget by quite a bit. So, did you see this, Mickey, at all?
No.
Okay. So, also soccer fields.
Actually, it sounds like a lot of stuff for that small amount of money.
It does.
It does, but it's not, because the and when you look at the items on here, he has 0. And the reason there's 0, because a lot of this they're taking on the DPW.
Some of that playground equipment can cost $20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see what he's talking about. I mean, they're talking, as an example, the slide structure is for $4,800. The swing set, $4,300.
Okay.
So
Nothing really big and elaborate.
right. So with everything they're doing, I mean, they came up with a overall $30,500. So, but this is preliminary, and I'd like to see what he's talking about. So this is something that we're basically supposed to approve. So I'm just going to ask this. I want to see pictures of the structures and what we have to work with. But I would think that we need, Morton Park is one of those things that we really need to be getting on very quickly because we've had.
Well, I think we could approve most everything on that list except for maybe the playground equipment if you wanted to see it, correct? There's no reason to stop.
Oh, no, but this is his preliminary.
Uh-huh.
So I think along with this, which I just got, along with the pictures of what we're looking at as far as purchasing, I think, and then get an approval from us. This is, I don't think this is up for approval right now. He's just saying, I've looked into it, this is what the upgrades look like they're gonna be.
Okay.
Does it fit the plan? I mean, does he have a drawing of, do they
No.
draw out what?
It's just basically, just a
I
Excel
think we
sheet.
should know,
Oh,
a little layout.
yeah, we need to see a little bit more detail on that. But I think we need to push this a lot. I think this needs to be resolved within the next couple of commission meetings we have. The next one, I'd like to see pictures of what we're proposing.
And we're in the park plan, we never
Yeah.
seem to do the plan.
Right.
And if we got a little extra money,
I
we
think
should
that,
do
weren't they
that.
gonna use the old plan?
Yeah, I mean, they
You
looked
know,
at it.
Jeff did provide us with a
Old
plan that
plan,
was
is that
drawn
for
up
that?
long ago. He shared it with all of us.
Yeah, I
don't-
remember that plan, does
Yeah.
that equipment fit it, that fits it then?
I don't
They have
know. I wish,
landscaping
yeah, I
and
wish
stuff.
he was here because, I mean, I think this is a good start.
Yeah, I do too.
But I also would like to see what the slide structure looks like, what the swing set structure looks like, and then what's our timeline to get all this stuff done. So, like we've always said, it looks good on paper, but until we actually put it in action and get our plan, that seems to be our whole problem. So, I just don't want to delay this any longer than what we need to. This is 10 to 15 years in the making, which is ridiculous, and our commission is going to see it through to completion. So,
Are they gonna leave the old swing set and slide there?
I'll have to say no.
yeah, I would say no too. I
Okay.
think it's all upgrade according to this.
Okay, so we remove those.
Yeah.
We'll put it in your yard list.
So I'm gonna ask Jeff, I'll reply to this, and I always CC all of you, just say, can we just get a little bit more details, pictures, details, and we'd like to talk about this at our next commission meeting in June, and then settle on it, and then make a timeline. Because I'm sure the Manistee advocate would like to publish something like this.
So what did Jen Tilley have to say?
Or,
Regarding our-
Jen? Well, she's been on the Parks Commission prior, and this is a project that they were working on, it just seemed to be lost.
You said you had some correspondence.
Yeah, she's always like, where are we at with it?
Okay.
So, and also she gave us last time, when she was here, she gave us pictures and suggestions, wants it colorful, wants it playful. So, I think she attended several of our meetings, did she not? So, she just has a vested interest because she doesn't want to see it passed on.
Yeah.
And the money's budgeted, so why are we not using it? So now we're finally
Well,
tasking it.
I think that'll happen this year.
Oh, I think so.
And it'll only happen as fast as it's decided,
Right.
you know.
Or as fast as things can come
What?
in. So, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, it's Vicky, the buck stops there.
Are you losing value with her?
Never,
Alright.
never.
Alright, so Martin Park, obviously, we're making some headway, but we need to make sure we're just going in that direction that needs to stay there. So I'm gonna email Jeff and get a little bit more details on this and then find what our timeline is.
Well, and for my input, the beginning budget that he's presenting sounds really good to me.
Yeah, oh, I think
There's
so
a lot of
too.
stuff and everything we talked about, I think is in there.
Yeah, and if you see there's a lot of zeros. I mean, a lot of zeros because
Yeah.
Jeff thinks he can get it done under the DPW budget, so which I think is pretty
Before you
good.
move on, Mr. Chairman, let me make my opposition statement.
Yes.
I believe that we should turn Wood Park into the dog park and not try and blend two things together. I made that statement before, tried to represent that position, I lost, but I want to remake that statement. That was a perfect place to make a dog park.
Well, you said there's a dog care or something, what did you say?
Yeah,
about
you
the
did
dog?
say something about the dog.
Yeah.
Dog run. I thought that
Dog
was,
bag station.
Oh, a doggy bag
So
station
they can
for
throw
the,
it.
to pick up the waste.
It was an ideal park to make a long run for big dogs,
Right.
separate big dogs and small dogs, give up the old ideas that we had together,
Yeah, honestly, I think we toyed with that, Bob, and I think the ultimate
Well, I
decision.
know I lost.
Yeah.
I just want to make a statement. I like my old original plan. I
Yeah.
lost.
We always love people's opinions. Yeah.
Right.
And to admit that you lost is a big thing.
But we're also
So.
citizens.
All right, very good. Any more on the Martin Park? The disc golf update, we already talked about.
Can I say
Yeah.
anything?
Sure.
I don't want to mess you guys up. I don't want to go to jail or anything like that.
It's under like probably public comments, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just break all the rules.
Yeah.
I was on the Parks Commission for a period of time, probably 6 years ago now.
Can you just announce for this who you are?
What?
You need to announce who you are for the.
Oh, is that,
No, the speaker's right over there, but just say who you
can
are.
you,
You're on video.
where is the video? I don't like that. I'm a very private person.
I know, it's right up there. Well, yeah.
Where should I move?
Well, these meetings,
Shame.
you're still recorded. Even when you make comments, you're still recorded.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not stopping it and pausing.
Yeah, we don't stop. Yeah, we're not allowed to stop it and pause it. So if you're
Oh,
not-
okay, all right. Anyway, I was on the Parks Commission for a period of time, and I got off because there was so much dissension.
Mhm.
It was uncomfortable. I didn't want to be part of it, and so I got off. But we were working on the Morton Park at that time too, because there was nothing
Right.
there. Okay, that was, and then in regards to the bags, we would go to Florida for 6 months of the year. We had a house there, 6 months in Manistee, this is our main home. And they had these little bags all over the place, which was a help. It was a big help. But the thing is, some of them, you try to take a bag and you can't get rid of it, and so there would be flags like flying all over the community because of the style. And I don't know what that means as far as I don't know what's proper and what's not. But they can be messy too. So
ours, you can only pull out one at a time.
they're good.
Mhm.
These
Mhm.
were not. They were
No, no,
supposed
no.
to.
That's Florida, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
Orlando.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Ours come out one at a time.
Okay. All right. Good. And
And for the record, when she was in the Parks Commission, I was not in the Parks. First time I met this lady.
but we have a love of sobs in common.
Sorry?
We have a love of sobs in common.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, can we get it back on the agenda?
All right, we're back.
Mhm.
No, you're fine. No, appreciate your comments. We just, yeah, we were, move on.
Sitting right side by side.
Yeah, let's move on to the Lions Pavilion fees. I actually made contact with the mayor and voiced our concern that we have no idea what funds have been generated. I told the mayor it was our understanding that the funds generated from the Lions Pavilion, which is how we presented it, was actually supposed to go back to the Parks Commission so we could have a fund to improve things.
We made a motion on that.
Yeah, I made a motion. She even wrote Bill an email saying, where are we on this? And it was mentioned to the city council, and was approved on that agenda. So,
Good.
yeah, so we need to keep on top of that. So that's what we promised to the public, so I think we need to maintain that. So although it does go into the general fund, it should still be our budget money, that we spend on it. So that's where we are with that, so.
Do you know how many dollars it's talking about?
You know what? I'll tell you, it's rented all summer basically by people, so you're talking about thousands of dollars, to be quite honest with you, so. And then we as a Parks Commission decided maybe put screens on the sides, or something, for weather. Yeah, paint and do
Yeah, there's
things.
a lot of
Your canvas stuff.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be a pilot program for us, where we can generate funds, have a budget, so we can do our things that we need to do, and then move on to other projects that we might need to do. So to me, it was kind of like a catalyst. So I want to make sure we're right on this. Has anybody visited the Lions Pavilion, seen the bulletin board? Is it looking good, or is it just a letter on the board that says for reservations, call this number?
Just a letter.
Okay.
Well, we have 3 rules and regulations and a calendar per month that we put up there.
Okay, so you do post a
Every
updated
month.
calendar?
It should be online. We had talked about that we give it 1 month, the original proposal. Then
I don't think it was a month, I don't think we had a deadline, but it was a
I
trial
think it was
before
very
it went
short,
out.
because we said it makes us look behind the 8 ball compared to
Yes.
other towns. So, I
Right.
mean,
This, it didn't have a calendar system, that's why they said, we're gonna do this.
we'll try it, but I think it was like, we said let's just immediately, because it's not that hard to get it. I mean, people with little Airbnbs get it online right away, so I think that we need to step that up to get it online.
I would agree. I think Lanny and I are on that, we're on that subcommittee for the Lions Pavilion. You don't remember?
No.
But when I report back in June, I'll have an update on how that's going out there. But I would agree, I think it needs to look professional, looks to look nice, updated so people can just take a look at it. I mean, Jeff wanted to do an iPad.
We all agree online would be better, but.
And you just let
Not
them
even
realize
sure
your
there's
date's full immediately.
Yes.
You don't have to do anything.
Or, the new thing now is you just do a barcode.
Yes.
Barcode on
QR,
there.
yeah,
Do the
yeah,
QR
yeah,
code.
there you go.
That's the way things are going.
Exactly.
So I'll see where we are with that. So I haven't really been up and checked that out recently, so we'll check that out. Any new business?
We just added 4 things.
I know. Well, let's see, new business. Liz?
Well, that we have, the one new business was the picnic tables. Vicki, do you know which ones were painted? Jeff had told us they were painted during the winter.
No, benches were painted during the winter.
Benches.
Yeah,
Oh.
not picnic tables.
'Cause the
But during the big day of serving, like I said last meeting, we're gonna, there's people who want to, we're getting a team to paint them.
Okay,
So we're gonna find an area, so I can put out a whole pile of tables, whether it be some on the north side, some on the south side, supply the equipment, and the big day of serving,
okay.
people are willing to
perfect.
paint them.
Or just disperse the people, divide up the people, so we moving the tables, just send some to first.
We're just setting them up right now, I mean, yeah. I'd rather make the mass in 2 spots as opposed to 300
Well, you
spots.
probably need a lot more paint if there were, wherever there was a picnic table.
So that is on the agenda to be done this year.
It's on for the big day of serving, yes, correct.
Oh, that's
Do they
cool.
have to be cleaned and sanded before they're painted, or?
I'm not quite sure. I think they'll be fine, but I'll take a look.
Well, then our big day serving, we had applied and got that, they're gonna help at the Lions Pavilion, clean it up, power wash it. And I think that they'll, the picnic tables, I think, could be done down there.
If you wish,
I mean,
yeah,
the ones-
one of that was one of the
ones in
areas,
that
like the
pavilion.
kite park would have been one of the areas for the tables,
And
in that area.
And we had talked about painting as a group, because I think that big day of serving might be like more than half a day. I don't know, because we stay all day. So I don't know how much they'll get done.
Well, I
But
bet if once we get in there, if someone's directing.
Depends on the volunteers. Our first year was amazing. We had over
Okay.
300 volunteers.
Okay.
We got so much done.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Perfect. And then, we had also talked about us doing those little cabana things, like the ceilings, there's painted areas on there that need to be, if we could catch it now, it wouldn't be quite as much scraping. If we wait 2 more years or a year, it's gonna be much worse.
Okay.
So, but prior to that big day of serving,
Do we have water down there so we can hook up hoses to power wash?
Yes. Well, all the water's been turned on.
okay, that's perfect. I thought we should wash picnic tables before we clean them, must be
I think
sanitary.
we-
Wash.
the power washing makes sense, doesn't it? Before you.
Yeah, as long as there's enough time between power washing it and drying before you apply clean. That'd be.
So in your experience, how long after you power wash would it be ready? to be-
As a non-Joe Charlevoix, it would depend on the weather.
The dryer?
Because if I was a weatherman, I could be 50% wrong and still have my job.
All
But
right.
usually just, taking broom and, or wire brush and getting the surface to
Scrape
it.
it.
All you need to do is get rid of the loose stuff for the most
Yeah,
part, because,
yeah.
So it might not be a good idea to power wash and just scrape them.
If there's enough time between power washing them and actually painting, I mean, if it's like weeks, it'd dry out. I mean,
Okay. All right. So is there a date that we have to get this done
Well, it's
before?
gotta be done by June 11th if we're gonna do anything before, or if you think we can just.
Do it all together. So are you suggesting that we meet before June 11th?
Is it June 11th? Am I say it on the calendar? Is that
I
the
think you're
date?
right, yeah,
Is
I
that
think
right,
it's
Dave?
June
That's
11th,
a
yeah.
Saturday?
Correct.
That's,
It's a volunteer day.
Yeah, big days, I mean.
So you want to just plan on doing it on June 11th then?
Is that enough, or do you?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we get enough volunteers, we can get it hammered out.
Yeah, they get enough volunteers.
I mean, they're agreed to help too, I don't know how many they're
Oh,
gonna
okay.
send.
But we don't know how many.
No, we don't know their number.
Okay,
Well,
but
you
Nikki
just
says
go
it's
and you
gonna-
do what you can.
Exactly.
I would,
And then,
I would suggest you do the area,
Windows,
I would suggest that you, like, you want to do your picnic tables, you want to do it in the last pavilion, just do whatever you have there. That will take care of the rest.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
perfect, yes.
Because
we
you
need
can
the
get
big
overwhelmed.
pavilion, Not to do the cabanas.
Oh, no, I mean, if you have enough
Yeah,
numbers,
but not-
but that'd be whoever,
It depends on the
check
numbers.
the chamber
I'll call
on the
her and
numbers.
see. Maybe she'll. maybe
Yeah,
she
check
has an
the
idea.
numbers, because
Once it gets close
they
to
actually want
They'll know how
more,
many they got,
Yeah.
we'll know how many we have.
I'm not sure of the amount of volunteers, so
I-
contact the leadership group,
I believe it starts at
see how it
9.
divides. I
Is
know
it-
there's gonna be a huge team. Oh, wait for the round table, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Liz? what
Does
is-
it start at 9? It's 9 o'clock, right? It's 9 AM.
Breakfast first?
Where do you, we're gonna meet at your house?
Sure.
I'll put 10 up. Bob's got a nice place.
We'll be there first.
Don't know one way we come up to work there.
Alright, next list?
I wanna hear more about that $5,000 monthly Minger grant. It's the first I ever heard of it.
Oh, yeah, so found this out quite a while ago, that there's a huge different process for applying for large grants, and there's a really simple streamlined process for $5,000 a month
To who?
to the Minker
For
grant. To get a Minker grant,
Community grant to who?
Minker, to what we need.
Minger's the gentleman that donated all
He's
the
a
money.
philanthropist.
Yes.
So there's a
That
fund out
donated the
there
money.
by the Minker Foundation.
How do you spell that?
And
Minger is a wonderful man from Midland that
You know,
gave the money
the
to
Minger
Manistee
family?
County.
The foundation.
Yeah, to the foundations to be used for recreation, if I understand it correctly. He's a very generous, kind man.
millions of dollars in this account.
For recreation parks.
Under the
Falls right in the line of what we're doing.
We have a soft spot and also thought Manistee needed it.
And there's no reason for not applying for these monthly, to be quite
So-
honest.
15 minutes.
So in this $5,000 grant, you get the you do a proposal, you get the money, then there is a process to report back how you spent the money?
Yes.
Yes, you know,
Yes.
there's always that.
Very easy process. though.
Oh,
Yeah.
You give them
okay.
your project, your goals, and completion, you just let them know.
Oh, okay.
So,
And will this interfere with anything that the city itself is trying to do?
says no. Now, you gotta keep in mind, we're representing the city when we apply for these grants.
Right, but remember, we don't wanna be applying for the same grants that somebody else
No.
is. Okay.
Yeah,
We can
basically-
ask city council, we can ask them.
Yeah.
Is there a packet that they've already put together for here's how you apply for it?
Well, that's why I suggested whoever wants to be on this subcommittee, which I think we truly need, and then they would meet, I wanna meet with them, they're willing to meet with us and discuss what their process is, and then I think once we understand the simplicity of this process, then we start rolling things out, just like what Brian was talking about earlier. That'd be a fun project to start working on. We could do $5,000 monthly upgrades on what they need.
We have to make sure that the DPW can coordinate that with us, cause they're gonna have to do the work.
Yes and no. If the DPW doesn't have the manpower, the resources, then we figure that out. If we got a $5,000 grant, we gotta figure out some other way of doing it, then we figure out some other way of doing it.
Well,
You
it's
get a
like-
contractor with that money?
What's that?
Could you
Hire a
hire a
contractor.
contractor or local
We were
contractor?
talking to you guys first, but.
You can
No, I mean, yeah, like,
Yeah, absolutely. You know, but the whole thing is, and I talked to the mayor about this in great detail. We have so many ideas and projects that we love to do, but the DPW doesn't have the resources or the money or the city to get things done. So if we apply for a $5,000 grant, our first thing would be go to you guys. Is this something that you can do in a timely manner? We got the grant. If not, then we just contract it out. But I would think, Mickey,
Or
though,
like the groups might help.
yes, yeah, the groups or somebody, or get suggestions from you guys and who you think we should utilize to get it done. So
yeah.
I would never go out, my thing is to coordinate with the DPW to get
Yes.
the projects done. So, and you guys know contractors,
Correct.
you know, you work with them, so we're gonna utilize that resource to make sure. But man, we just been sitting around too long. I mean, we really have, and Laney and I, we've been on here for a long time, and it's like, we just like, as you have of Morton Park, it's like, we gotta get it done, so. I like this Minger Foundation thing, because I think it's something that we should have all been utilizing for years, but just nobody does it, you know? So form our subcommittee, go meet with them, find out what their requirements are, get the blessings from the city, boom, we're good to go. We'll have a $5,000 a month budget. How cool is that?
Do you know who the key people are in this foundation?
I believe it's several Laura
Do you need to
Heitzman.
know?
Yeah, she'll direct us. Laura Heitzman from the foundation. It's run through the Manistee County Foundation. So Laura Heitzman would set us up with the right person. It's probably meet with someone else, not her, but she would direct us, so I think we can make the contact tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you interested in being on this?
I would, you? Who else?
Anybody
wants
else?
to be on
I
this?
wouldn't mind helping Liz with that.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Tim and Kelly,
I mean,
I mean, the more that know, the better, because
Well, keep this in mind, we gotta be less than quorum in order to do this. And when you're quorum, this is what I've been finding out.
Right.
So, you guys can meet as often as you want, the three of you, doesn't need to be publicized, doesn't
Right.
need to be talked about. So if we keep it 3 or less, then you guys can do whatever you need to do. So you'll start that then, you
Yep.
guys?
I'll call tomorrow.
So meet with her, or talk with her and set up a meeting.
Yeah.
Let's just first see what our requirements are, see if
And see if
everything's.
it's not feasible, I mean, if it's.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. I can do that.
All right, so our subcommittee is Lanny, Karen, and Liz
Okay.
for the Nature Foundation applications. So I'm excited. I think that's
There you
gonna
go.
be cool.
I'm excited.
I
Feel
know.
the energy.
We got a good commission, you know, so it's like, it's very fortunate we got to where I think we need to be, so. Because I know what your frustrations are when you were on the Parks Commission, because that was like that. When Lanny and I, Lanny's been here longer than anybody, but I used to attend these meetings, they were half an hour. It's like, it just really was just talking.
It was
no
just
action.
discouragement and.
We're moving in the right direction. Did you have anything else, Liz? Well, you had the budget.
Well, at the budget, I didn't get a chance, I just went back to copy it, but the city budget is like 165 pages, I can send you the link, we should be looking at that. The Parks has like $500,000 in there, and the one question, do we pay water bills to the city? There's a line item in here, and we must, that we're actually paying for the city water, the budget is 21,000 for city water, that's a big chunk of our
Like
budget.
bathrooms and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we must
Bathroom,
be paying.
showers, fountain,
Sure.
Okay,
sprinkling.
Yeah.
that's a big chunk of our budget.
So my understanding is that we're always supposed to be involved in that process, where our.
Well,
Yeah.
Jeff did ask for ideas on the budget. And then he asked just before I left for the budget in '23. Because that's, I'm all on, let's get 9th Street worked on. So, and I gave my 2 cents. I think there was stuff at the meeting. We wrote, I
Yes
think
and-
it's in the
yes and no.
minutes.
I don't think Jeff has ever come to us with a parks budget and said, this is where the money's being directed, this is where it's gonna go.
Correct.
I think our Parks Commission, understanding our bylaws, we're supposed to have input on that, the overall.
And that's what he's done. He's requested input from, he gave us an opportunity.
So I think we should look at this, and I didn't get a chance to copy it, but I think we should, I think
Absolutely.
we should absolutely look at it. It's available, I can send a link to you, or you can go online and get the link yourself. There's like 3 pages.
See,
You
the
can
real
start at
mystery
page
was, is
65.
the Parks Commission itself had like $10,000 at one time. Then it got to be like 8,000, and now there's nothing.
Not this
And it was-
million.
No, that's for the whole,
Just
I'm
our
just
fund.
talking
Parks,
for us.
okay.
And it was for things like if we wanted to make flyers or,
Or a little trip or something.
yeah,
Look
there
at
was a
something.
minimum amount. That's disappeared, is what I
Right,
find really disappointing,
yes.
because that's evaporated. But when there's financial high times, that kind of stuff gets absorbed. But that's past us now, there's money, it needs to come back. We need to budget again, and they need to hire more people in the Parks Department, which was another thing that we put on.
Yep, until agreement. Supposedly the mayor's looking into that too. Why did we lose our budget? You know,
Yeah.
because there should be money for us to actually oversee and spend, to do what we need to do. Little projects. I mean, if we had generated funds from the Lions Pavilion to do what we want to do, we don't need approval. We as a commission approve it, and then we get it done, so.
But you still have to do it through DPW.
Right, well, everything's directed through them.
Yeah.
But I just think there needs to be better communication, more so from the top to us as far as getting things done. So that seems, in my opinion, seems to be one of the problems, so. Right,
Well, listen, there seems to be not enough trash cans at some of these, we've been trying to have coffee in the park.
Are we in the round table now?
No.
no, we're under new business.
New business,
But I don't, where is that in the list?
nine.
A budget or trash under new business?
Well,
You added
we
four
haven't
things.
talked about it
You
before.
had containers in your list. I had containers.
I thought, on the last thing we haven't talked about is a field trip.
Oh,
That's what I have.
That should
Okay.
come.
would anybody be interested in that? And the reason,
Who about the containers? Because I saw that as one of the items.
Yeah, you can talk about containers, you were talking about them.
just about trash cans, I think we need more trash cans out if possible, like, at Fifth Avenue, there was just one the other day, and
There's
there's
more than one there right now.
Is there good? Oh,
Yeah,
we probably
there's a
got
couple in the
Okay.
house, we have, yeah.
That's huge, because
And-
that helps.
If I may, when it's not being used a lot, we'll add cans when the usage goes up.
Okay,
And we've been adding cans. Lately, our focus has been cleaning the river walk for guidelines and trips.
then moving on to the, visiting, I think I said the seventh, but I think it was, we had looked at June fourth, excuse me, Saturday. And visiting, Glen Arbor, and Kelly and I had talked about it, we talked about it with, Linda, we mentioned it, a while back. Visiting another park, and Glen Arbor it's a small town, granted has a higher tax base, but they have beautiful, well-maintained parks. One downtown is gorgeous with everything that's so utilized. And then they added a $3 million park just recently, we went and looked at it behind the school. And I did talk to their, I don't know, he's on the Parks Commission, and he's on the Board of Education and the Parks Commission, and they work well with the schools in Glen Arbor, but the parks, he's like this super energetic and such a Mr. Parks guy. And he said, well, Liz, you gotta understand, we have a lot of money up here, which is in Glen Arbor, but he said, I did it in Muskegon, and they probably have less than you. It's a very comparable town. He said, it isn't just about money. And he's willing to talk to us, and he said, I can get a couple other people to meet with us. And one day he threw out was this June 4th, a Saturday, and if we could get some people just to carpool, go up there, look at the parks.
Drive is it?
It's probably an hour and 15 minutes, maybe.
Beautiful drive,
Maybe an hour and a half.
absolutely beautiful drive.
It's a beautiful drive.
1 hour and 9 minutes.
Yeah.
So
We have lunch in their park.
it's 1 hour. to get up.
Yeah.
2.5
So-
hours if you're on a bicycle.
If there was more than 3 people going, we'd have to make it a meeting. How would that work?
Yeah, so 3 people want to go. And
So that's-
we just always
Or
gotta
could
go.
we have it be,
quorum.
you know, or we have to have recorded then or whatever.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
Well, I cannot go because I'm planting flowers in Harvard Village on the fourth.
Okay.
All right. So-
I think Kelly wants, so how, if we have more than 4, how do we make it a meeting?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Well, it'd be,
Because it'd be nice to get as many as we could go, let's not limit.
right, I would say we don't care about that. If we have
Yeah.
quorum, we have quorum, we figure out what needs to be done. I think it's a matter of a special meeting notifying Kelly or.
If it's a work session,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go,
it's
it's a
just a
work
work
session.
session, because we didn't record that one, work session that we had, it didn't get recorded. So let's say it's a work session, because it is a work session, we're not
Sure.
gonna have an agenda, it's just a work session,
Gathering
Alright.
ideas.
gathering ideas.
All right. I'm game, I'll go,
Okay.
so.
What time would we wanna go? I just,
What
9,
time
10.
would they want us? Like, because if they're gonna do the work,
well, I think he's pretty open, if I said that we'd leave at 9, we'd get there by 10:15 or so.
okay.
10 o'clock.
Kind of run.
Unless you're planning on stopping along the way.
And then we just go look at both parks, you know, and I don't know if there's any other parks along the way, if someone else has another park in,
Well, I'll tell you this, Empire is beautiful.
is it?
Empire's on the way. Empire, when I stopped there,
Like
they're
Empire.
along the lake shore, but they charge for entrance to their parks, which is what we've always kind of talked about, revenue building. You know, if we did at some point, were to charge for our parks, parking over
Do you
there.
have vans, passenger
Sorry?
vans? Do you have passenger vans?
Do I personally? No,
Well,
no,
city.
the
Yeah,
city
city.
meet, no, sorry, no,
No.
no.
But it might be neat to see Glen Arbor because they have parks on the beach.
Yeah.
That's a
You
good
mean
idea.
Empire?
I mean, Empire.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's on the way.
It's on the way.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
right
no-brainer.
off, it's right off
It's a
the road.
no-brainer. We'll go
Check
there
it out.
last and
So-
then we won't have to be on a set time because there's no speaker there.
Yeah, I went there and I was like amazed.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Good
Playground
suggestion.
equipment, everything, well
Okay.
maintained, and I asked the lady there, I go, yeah, they're very nice parks. She goes, parking pays for it. You know?
Parking pays for it.
Yeah, they're parking.
Oh.
They, you know what they charge?
Parking.
Not the
What do
park
they
itself.
charge?
You get $5
Pays
a
for
day.
all of the
That's different.
amenities
That's
in the
different.
park.
You think that's a lot?
We
It
did
is.
buck on that. That's a lot for Manistee.
Well, yeah, we're not there yet,
No.
but that's what they do.
But if the parks are nice, if we would.
Oh,
Identify a
People
revenue
are willing to pay
generating
for
source,
upkeep
would
and
be all
maintenance,
set.
you know, as long as they see money going towards what it needs to.
Exactly.
That's why I don't think we'll see a lot with.
So we have a round table?
Huh?
No,
Yeah.
not yet.
Like,
Okay.
Randy, I missed you.
I'll email that out because that's gonna be before our next meeting, so I will email out
We're
the
still
thing.
on the-
I can drive, my car isn't very big, it's seats 4.
Okay.
If we get more than 4, let's ask if anybody from the city council, because I think Linda would go, she's good
Oh.
and interested.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Cindy might go, and
That's a good idea.
so I don't know if anybody from the DPW wants to go more, maybe Jeff would want, who knows? We'll ask, because he might enjoy it.
Yeah, check it out. Good
Well,
idea.
send over-
Nice. Yeah. So we didn't have our, visit of the parks this last couple of years.
No, we brought that up. It's something, and that always needs, we always did it at the end of the year, we need to do it at the beginning of the year. You know, so that's, we have to go to the city council, set a date for that. But we talked about that in one of our meetings where we always did it at the end of the year.
We did in October, so we'd have an idea what we'd want to suggest for
And
budget.
it was never, and they never got off the dam. They always stayed on the trolley.
Right.
Never went and saw what was wrong. They just did a tour, this is the avenue, this
With
is
the
First Street.
location drive by.
Yeah, it was like, I did one of those, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, there was nothing done. So if we're gonna do one of those educational, go around the parks, which is what we need to do, they need to get off, and we need to show them what we're concerned about, and what we want fixed. So, I think we just need to set that date, is what we need to do. So maybe June, July, I don't know, I'll try to get an idea from, I'll email the mayor to see if she's, when we can get that on her agenda.
There is a little travel on our budget here, training and, it's called travel and training. So
Yeah, I
that would
used
apply
that.
to that.
That's probably for the DPW,
Anybody, do you go to
professional
MRPA?
development, like how to put on pesticides and stuff. It's not probably for us.
You're probably right. I'm sure you're right. That's
All right, so we're just moving on, Liz, you're all good on that
That's
then?
perfect.
Okay, roundtable, meeting?
But you were supposed to call me,
I
you were supposed to
didn't
hang up.
have anything.
Nothing?
Well, you know, if anybody, there's been any talk about what's going on in Ninth Street. Because right now, last time I was down there, the boat ramp was kind of washed out. Maggie, I'm asking about Ninth Street. Looks like the boat ramp's kind of been washed out.
Not anymore, we moved it and
You
cleaned
did,
it all up and
so
grabbed
at
it.
least it's usable. And
Yeah,
then, you know, now that the sewer project's coming to a close, you know, Jeff promised us we'd start working on a plan for Ninth Street. Has anything happened? I've been gone for 2 months.
No.
Okay,
Boat launch?
Yep.
yeah.
Nope.
Okay,
I'll tell you that.
that's all I was wondering about.
Yeah, my idea is that we move roundtable discussion to TJ's, and not take it off our agenda.
I could second that.
That'd be part of this agenda.
It could be more than 3 of us then. If we're talking.
We'll sit at separate tables.
Yeah, right.
Lunch and I, Kelly did that last
If
time.
you want to have
Yeah.
Mickey was there,
fun
Mickey showed up.
places, right? Am I
We went
correct?
to TJ's after
It has
this.
to be a fun group.
Alright, anything else, Rob?
No, sir.
Alright. The only thing I'd like to add is, I think we need to meet more than monthly for those that want to. And it doesn't matter whether you like it or not, because if we don't meet quorum, it's not a big deal. You know, so for less than 4, but monthly is not cutting it during the peak times. Because we have a lot on our agenda, to be quite honest with you, and I honestly think we lose. So I'm just gonna make a suggestion, and we can do this, we don't need any approvals, it's just that if people wanna meet bi-weekly, we can do that.
You can make a suggestion too.
But if you're gonna have a real meeting, you have to post it.
Correct.
Could one be a work session?
No, yeah,
But you're
if
still
it's
supposed to.
talking to the mayor about that,
Yeah.
she thought it was a good idea. If you don't, there's a way around that. If you're not, to form a subcommittee with less than 4 people.
Right,
So you can do that.
Right.
So, because there's a lot, and I think we have enough going on, and we have enough subcommittees that we can start doing stuff like that, because we need to make sure things are getting accomplished, and the only way we can do that is by meeting more regularly for those subcommittee groups, not as a commission in its
okay,
entirety.
so that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that we don't have to wait monthly. You know, phone calls, hook up, meet, talk about things, push it, just like your
Yes.
Minger stuff that you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Just send me the-
Just do it. Yeah, I mean, but there's other things that need, I mean, even the Lions Pavilion is moving on. We're just losing things. So I think there's some groups that we need to meet more often. So, but that's amongst ourselves. And I want to encourage that because I don't want to see things stall. I want to see things move forward. So,
Suggest something?
yeah.
Because we're parks, the summertime is our primary season, correct?
Yep.
So we should maybe come up with ways to look at not working or trying to purchase things during our primary season, but purchasing them in the off-season.
Absolutely.
Am I making any sense here?
Yep, yep.
So if we could figure out prioritizing things in that sense.
Yeah.
Because once we get into the summer, we're all busy.
It's already here.
Yeah, and it's already here,
Yeah.
you know, so.
That's why I'm thinking this even
Kind
applies.
of too
Yeah.
late to start doing stuff sometimes. That's just my suggestion.
Nope, I like it. Nikki, what's the conditions of the First Street basketball courts, the nets, the rims? Are
Are
those?
we on round table right now?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll get to it when I come on to me.
awesome, all right, very good. I don't have anything else, Liz? Karen?
No, but I did look into swimming. We have the paint center here, correct?
Yeah.
It's the one paint, that's the one, and that is where the gentleman, I think he's in his 80s now, actually does all the, and Recreation Commission actually runs swim lessons, but I couldn't find it on their website, any information on it. But, I mean, you know, that's what I've been thinking about and looking into a little bit.
Because they used to be there one day.
Well, I'm just thinking about, you know, they just had 2 twins die, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, in Lake Michigan recently, they just drowned. And where I come from in Detroit, I lived 6 blocks from the river and I never had access to it. So we had to get in our car to get access to it because it was all industrial. But we taught, and when I say we, the Parks and Recreation, taught kids how to swim all the time.
Yep.
But we had facilities all over with swimming pools. I was just thinking about things like there are, like Harbor Village has a pool, am I correct? In their clubhouse.
Yes.
Hotels have pools.
Bob's on the committee over there. So
Oh, yeah. So I was just thinking of just,
Yeah, good luck.
but that is more for the Recreation Committee, because that's
Hey,
more
Mayor.
of programming.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I know that Harbor Village would be off limits. They just had a big thing about that.
Oh, did they?
Oh, yeah. It's only meant for members and members only and their guests and nobody else. So,
And we're collecting all the extraneous keys, just like no one else can get in.
yeah.
So I move we adjourn.
Well, we got,
It's ready.
no, I disapprove. We got Mickey.
Mary, do you have something to say?
No, am I late?
Perfect timing.
Couple of things to catch up.
At 7 o'clock, but I must have been mistaken.
Yeah. Couple of things to catch up. Y'all got the email on fertilizers and weed killer
I guess he's in the round table.
after the oh, wait, right, we are in roundtable?
Yeah.
That was my question, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Round table.
And wasn't I included in roundtable?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. The last time Kelly had questions on weed killer. I got the information, I sent it out to everybody. Hopefully
Yeah,
y'all
I
got
saw that.
have not got a price on a shade yet. Because that was another request that we had. Somebody wanted to know how much one of our shades at Fifth Avenue Beach would be. So they're going to email me with a quote.
When you talk about shade,
The ones that we have at Fifth Avenue, the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
meeting it was
yeah.
requested that
it is
to
on
get a
Israel
price,
Avenue.
to get a price on one of those.
Okay.
Tim popped my bubble, yes, our baskets are installed at Sismeric Park. We had a wonderful donation a week ago with the wheelchair. We had one delivered to
Yes.
Fifth Avenue Beach.
You look good in the picture.
Sorry?
Yeah, you
look good in the
did. You
picture.
looked awesome.
Yeah, that was not my choice, yeah. It didn't need to be in the paper. And then there's another one coming, hopefully before Memorial.
Awesome.
Yeah. Wonderful stuff. There was one other one you were talking though. Yes, sorry, the backboards. I have reached out to that individual. He's been really busy. We are meeting next week
Okay.
on the backboards for the basketball.
This is probably one of the most utilized basketball courts.
Right, yeah.
You know, I see kids out there
Yeah.
playing all the time.
And be completely honest with you, what with his schedule, with, I hate to use an excuse with COVID and everything else, we tried to get this done 2 years ago. So we're kind of behind the ball, but they're very eager. I just want to, I want to know his vision, because seriously, I don't play any sports with the ball, so I have no idea, you know, and that's why I want to get his vision and we can go from there.
Whose vision? Maybe I missed that. I didn't hear it.
Sorry?
Whose vision on the basketball? I didn't-
The gentleman that's going to donate some money for backboards for First Street Beach that we discussed.
Has
last
he
week.
donated them yet, or he's thinking?
No, we need to know what we need. I want his vision. There's monies available from him and his family,
Okay. Well, you want to
and
present?
I wanted to represent what he wants.
Okay,
Because I could throw anything up there, but,
yeah.
you know,
Right.
so we're meeting next week when his schedule lightens up.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
What about the tetherball?
Got him, and I got concrete, I got leftover concrete from the disc golf basket, so they're gonna go in, so. As soon as I have time and help. Yeah, this week has been huge push on cleaning everything from the pier all the way back for tight lines, both sides.
Oh, that makes
Next
sense.
week is the big push for Memorial
It's
weekend.
this weekend, right, taglines?
Yes.
Correct, it's Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So, and I got great kids this year. They're very motivated.
Awesome.
It's depressing. I know all of them that graduated with my son, now they're working with me.
Yeah.
I've seen them in their diapers, that's all. Okay, so now I feel old, but they're very motivated. For years I've been like going, you guys need to get to work, you guys need to get to work. This year's been, did you take a break? You actually need to take a break.
That's awesome.
Take your lunch. They're really great gentlemen.
Good
You know,
to hear.
every last one of them. I just don't have a lot of them. And we have only 3 employees at our marina. The marina opened up yesterday, and she's up fully functioned, but they only got 3 people there. We have re-advertised for more employees. So
To work at the marina?
to work at the marina with us and on the streets. So yeah, and a slight caveat to that: we at the department full-time employees, we have 2 people out now on sick and accident for up to 6 months. So we are actually full-time short as well, and we've been dividing a lot of people up. So
we appreciate what you do and what you have.
Absolutely.
So, well, that's gonna be a big deal when you put that tetherball up. Yeah, I almost said pickleball. It's not
Yeah.
pickleball, so that would be nice. That's been a long project in the works.
But it took us, we ordered them 3 different times and never showed up, and then they just showed up towards, like, it was towards the end of the year, it wasn't the winter, I will admit that, but,
We put them at First Street, right?
one at First, one at Fifth. Yeah.
Right on the beach, or where do you put it?
No, well, that's the thing, I've requested people to, I would like the tetherball at Fifth Avenue to be more, to be closer to where the volleyball is. Because that's kind of ball sports, it's kind of where I'm at. The one at First Street has me complex, I kind of would like to put it on the north side of the concession stand. The volleyball's on the south side, but with the walkway and people coming in and out, I think it'll be, unless somebody has another idea.
That's where everything's at. Slides are at.
Yeah, exactly, between the concession stand and the slides where some kids won't get it in the face. It's kind of where I
That's
was.
all activity. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
That's kind of my idea.
All right, cool. Thanks,
I'll
Mickey.
wait till your turn.
Mary, you got anything? For round table.
You asked me how much fees have been collected for the Lions Pavilion. I think it's about $2,450.
Wow.
2,400 so far, Linda? That's
Yes.
good. Good.
No, we're not eating with the heat.
Now, I think that's gross, so I don't know if they're taking any part out of staffing.
So, and I know I saw your email to Bill asking to make sure that what that money was going to be targeted for our budget.
You know, your budget is included in the DPW budget, period. You do not have a separate budget.
So
I'm imagining that money is in the general fund, we know how much it is, because everybody who is using the pavilion has to sign a contract, so it's easy to figure out the bookkeeping on that.
so we'd have to work with it. So,
Typically, I think what we requested was a designated fund. And that would,
And that was not provided, they can't do that. So,
well,
what they can track the amount,
so they won't do it, that's what they're saying.
basically they're not set up to do it that way.
Because it would require creating a new account number.
could they do it?
I'm not gonna speak for their accounting
Yeah.
department, but I know the amount that they've collected so far, because I checked with Bill this morning during my meeting, but I do know that they did say at a council meeting.
Okay, so $2,400 has been put into the DPW account, basically.
No.
Oh, general fund.
Yeah.
General fund,
Earmark.
and they know how much it is.
Okay.
that they're
So
collecting.
I guess then the next question would be, how would we access this money? Like, if we wanted to buy 60 gallons of paint that wasn't in our DPW budget, or some trees or anything, because that was
Those are thoughts.
the intent.
Yes.
Is because our budget isn't adequate to do everything we need to
You
do.
don't really have a budget. You're funded through the city.
Right, through the
All right.
DPW,
Yes.
that
They
budget,
basically are
right.
taking care of the needs for all the departments.
So you're never gonna see that money.
You can-
That's what I mean.
You can make a request, and I would make a request that you want to paint the pavilion or whatever you wanted to do.
And it comes
give
out of the
to Jeff,
DPW budget.
because he's the one who probably has to approve that first before it goes to council.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, I understand what Andy's saying, it's just not the way it was presented to the public in the paper and what we did with
And it
it.
wasn't
And
what
the
we
paper
approved.
doesn't get everything right either.
Yeah, I know. But I'll say this though, but when I went before the city council and I asked that, this is what we wanted to do, this was the idea of the rental fees, and we wanted to use those fees for upgrades and continue our projects and what we need to do.
And that still can be done because we know how much money.
And I just don't personally, like, if I know that we've collected $2,400, it'd be nice to know that we can use that $2,400 towards the improvements, but what I'm hearing is that's not necessarily so.
I didn't say that at
No,
all.
but no,
I'm
but-
saying that you need to request whatever you want to do, you're still going to have to make a money request.
Right,
You
to
can't just
Jeff,
go out and do something on your own.
Yeah, you
to
have
Jeff
start
or the
with
city
Jeff.
council.
Pardon me?
To-
Mickey, isn't Jeff still the latest?
Yeah, it could be Jeff.
Do you want to bring that? I don't know if that
Yeah.
happens.
We asked
I would
that.
certainly give Jeff the courtesy of saying that this is what you want.
So is there a way that we could get some kind of information on what's generated monthly from that Lions Pavilion rental?
Oh, good Lord. I don't know. Make a request,
To who?
Jeff or the city manager.
Okay.
Or
So
both.
I would just go right to Bill. So I just
There you go.
email Bill and say, I'd like to have somewhat of an idea how much we're generating monthly from the Lions Pavilion. And just tell them the reason why, because it's like money that we would like, and I'll CC Jeff on it, obviously, but
I like how you're charging ahead and you're trying to be progressive on all of this, but you have to understand that it's still the city's
Sure.
property.
Sure.
They have to maintain it. They are responsible, they are going to collect the fees. They're
Right.
doing all of that work. And I think your ideas for putting the screens on the pavilion are great. Any other improvements you want to make on the Lions Pavilion? I think you just make the request and see if we.
alright. It's just disheartening, to be honest with you, because it's not the direction of what we thought we were going with that.
I don't think you ever got a direct answer.
That's sad.
Well,
Should be able to, I mean, it seems like people skirt around things, so it's,
I think you're blaming the city for something they can't fix, because everybody would like their own individual fund. You know,
That's probably
we
what they
have,
want to do.
we have donations that have been given to us for the upkeep on, the Lighthouse Playground.
Yep.
The Lighthouse Playground, they used to have it with the community foundation, but the fees that they charge to just maintain it, to have it sit in their account, was eating up half of what they had in it. So the city is taking care of that. They have that. They know how much is in these different pots, but it's just not broken out in general ledger the way you would probably want it to be.
so we'll just wait and see. We'll just find out how much money is being generated and see whether we can get approvals to get done with what we want to get.
Yeah.
My idea is
I would suggest to you that if you want to see this utilized, you better start marketing it some more.
the
Because
Lions Pavilion.
if you guys want to take charge and keep pounding Facebook and every other social media outlet that you have, that this is available and this is what the fees are, you should be pounding that up. People forget, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's something new. So just for us too, I mean, this is all a learning experience, to be quite honest with you too, because understanding the local government a little bit better, it's not our money, it's your money, the city's money.
Yeah, it's not my money.
No,
Yeah,
the
it's-
city's money though.
It's all of
Tax
that.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well then I'll do that, I'll just email Bill and see if I can get a,
Or just wait until we want to do something and make a request.
there's already things that need to be
Even
done.
tonight, that 2,400 would have been, an example would be, we get these people that come in and make requests, like Jane Seifert did with the bushes and the plantings and stuff, and just wanted a little help, because she has been paying out of her own pocket with bushes.
Did we
and
get her
stuff.
help?
I helped her.
Okay, but she wanted, as far as being able to purchase some bushes and
Yeah,
stuff.
she wanted actual money for bushes and stuff, you know, just small expenses, and the man from the senior softball team tonight wanted just, they're willing to do some of the work, but just small expenses.
Well, most of the things.
Okay, I'll work on that. So we'll find, it just would be nice to know what we're getting, collecting, and then see if there's some type of
Well, I think
understanding.
you need to have that conversation with the city manager. You
Yeah.
know, how you can be looped in and see what his advice is.
Right, Bill, I'm coming for you. Yeah.
Okay, Robert.
I move we adjourn.
Second?
All right.
All right, stop. All right, very good.
Now you're clean.